Yo, what's good YouTube? Zam Crow here, aka Scoot, back with the CPC Season 6. We're here with week number 1 of the majors, and we're taking on Aster J, coach of the Montreal Hapsels, who has taken over for Carson. He actually, Carson dipped during the draft, and Aster came in towards the end, maybe after the draft, took Carson's team and what was left in free agency and built this pretty awesome squad here, as you can see on screen at the bottom. Titled Aster J and the Montreal Hapsels. He has Mega Pincer, Zapdos, Nihilego, Alolan Dugtrio, Delmize, Gardevoir, Conkeldurr, Volcanion, Bisharp, Flygon, and Tottenhall. So quite the squad, quite the scare. However, we have a pretty solid matchup. Well, let's not say pretty solid matchup. We have a pretty even matchup, so it all depends on the plays. It all depends on the preparation. It all depends on the focus and everything like that. That's all that matters, because the matchup's pretty even. We both have pretty solid ways of checking each other, as well as not only just checking each other, but pressuring each other as well. So he's got the Mega Pincer that pressures my team. I got the Mega Gallade that pressures his team. And then the rest of our Pokemon, we pretty much have checks to each other. I should say. So, I noticed that, Mega Gallade is a huge problem for his team. There's ways, I have Pokemon speed tiers to where I can revenge kill Mega Pincer, but he doesn't necessarily have a way to revenge kill Mega Gallade outside of potential speed ties or quick attack from Mega Pincer, or what I think most likely will be his revenge killer, his choice scarf item, or his choice scarf mon of choice. It will be Gardevoir this matchup. He has to bring it, and he has to bring a choice scarf variant. He can bring Modest. My first build actually included a Swords Dance or Bulk Up Mega Gallade with Drain Punch, Zen Headbutt, and Knockoff, and I ran enough speed to outpace Mega Pincer, but I dumped the rest in HP with 44 EVs and Spadef, which actually gave me a chance, or it might be 100% live Moonblast as long as I don't take Stealth Rocks damage. With Moonblast doing a max of 92% or something like that, and then Mega Gallade can knock out the Gardevoir, or at least knock its item off and then 2-hit KO it with knockoff. So that's pretty dope. However, I did change that. Let me note that. I did change that to a more offensive Gallade and a less bulky Gallade, so I no longer can take a Scarf Moonblast from a Modest Gardevoir. Maybe if it's timid. I didn't run any calc, so I don't actually know, but maybe, who knows. Yeah, so anyways, looking at his team and knowing that Scarf Gardevoir was coming, it has to come. And I don't really have a great answer to Mega Pincer, so I figured Mega Pincer would come as well. I decided on bringing Alolan Muck, Licky Licky, Bronzeon, Thundurus, Therian, and Kartana. Now I'm bringing dual Scarfers with Thundurus and Kartana, so I'm able. Thundurus in particular is specifically EV'd to outpace Scarf Gardevoir, and then Kartana is a choice Scarf variant. And I could have ran a lot less speed and a lot more bulk, but I really felt like there was a possibility that I could lose my item. So I also wanted to outpace Mega Pincer with or without my item. So I'm running enough speed for that. We'll jump into all that in a minute, I suppose. I didn't know necessarily if Delmize would come. I felt like it could. I felt like it had a bad matchup, but he really needed it for Rabbit Spin. I felt like Zapdos as a defogger could work, but then it lacks moves to hit, Bronzeon with Heat Wave, Kartana with, the Oko with Heat Wave. It needs Hidden Power Ice for Thundurus, Therians, and Gligar, and it needs, Stab, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, whatever it may be. It needs one of those moves. I think it really did really didn't need Delmize to come, so I felt like it could be a bring as well. I didn't see like Defog Flagon coming, and I felt like Nihilego was really hit or miss. Since I did have Alola Muck, I do have Nihilego, I do have Ways to Revenge Kill, and I do have Gligar as well. So I felt like Nihilego was hit or miss, but just having Bronzeon on my team really checks that anyway. Volcanion, Specs Volcanion, I don't have a switch into that outside of Tapu Fini, and I felt like with Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave as coverage on Volcanion, I felt like Tapu Fini wasn't efficient. So I felt like a more offensive approach to this match would help, be beneficial for me, so that I wouldn't be having to switch into Nihilego and Volcanion and Gardevoir as often, as much as he would be switching into my Pokemon. So I felt like an offensive bring this match is, the way to go. So I bring a lot of speed, my 2-choice Scarf users, and my Mega Gallade, which sets it, enough speed to outpace Mega Pinsir, and everything else coincidentally, as long as they're not choice Scarf. And I felt like speed time with Alolan Dugtrio was kind of boring, and I feel like I could live a hit and just click Drain Punch and get most of my health back anyway. So I felt like that really wasn't an issue if that thing outspeeds me. And I would like the 80. I got 80 EVs and HP as well. We'll get into that in a minute. And then Conkeldurr. It's normally an issue for my teams, but I do have Mega Gallade, so I feel like Zen Headbutt's just a nasty bop for it. Its defense stat and HP stat won't save it from Mega Gallade's power. I felt like I had enough offensive ways to pressure without specifically having to run a defensive countermeasures or like offensive checks to it or anything like that. But yeah, so he's got the Mega Pinsir, the Zapdos, the Nihilego, Alolan Dugtrio, Delmize, Gardevoir, Conkeldurr, Volcanion, Bisharp, Flagon, and Top Null, where I think Mega Pinsir, Zapdos, Delmize, Gardevoir, Volcanion, and maybe Conk or Bisharp are going to come. So let's go ahead and hop into exactly what we're going to be bringing. So here's our exact sets. We got Swords Dance Mega Gallade here with 80 EVs and HP, 212 in attack. This ensures that I 2-hit KO Zapdos after Stealth Rocks with Zen Headbutt, and Knockoff is a 2-hit KO on Gardevoir and Delmize. So this set really puts in the work. I do know, like I mentioned, he is bringing Scarf Gardevoir. He has to Revenge Kill this thing, otherwise he just loses to it. So on the chance that he switches Gardevoir in on Mega Gallade and I get a knockoff on that turn, then Mega Gallade's going to win the game for me, and that's really dope. So there's that. Also, if he was Mega Gallade, Mega Gardevoir, I could bring Throat Chop and prevent Hyper Voice, and that's something to look forward to in the future. I'm actually going to edit that out because someone may have drafted it. Mega Gardevoir. Anyways, so we got the knockoff, and that's basically we didn't need any specific coverage or anything like that. And Drain Punch, I felt like could get when I'm only going to be clicking Drain Punch against a few mons that's like a +2 Drain Punch is going to knock out. Bisharp, Alolan Dugtrio, probably Flagon as well. So I felt like just running Drain Punch and Zen Headbutt was perfectly fine. Zen Headbutt's going to be the move of choice most of the time, unless I absolutely don't want to miss, and then I will maybe click Drain Punch. And then, like I mentioned, Knockoff is always there. So there's that. Let's go ahead and scroll up here, and we have our boy Dank here. The Assault Vest Alolan Muck with Poison Touch, the Knockoff, Poison Jab, Brick Break, and Rock Slide. I got Brick Break there because I can live, like a +2 Sucker Punch or a +2 Knockoff or Iron Head, and then I can knock him out with the Brick Break. And if he gets greedy or tries to set up army or something like that, I can always just knock him out with the Brick Break. So that's dope. I also got the Rock Slide from Mega Pinsir. I felt like those two mons were the biggest threats, and Rock Slide also hits Volcanion, as well as having the Assault Vest to tank at least one hit and bop it back with the Rock Slide. Unfortunately, Rock Slide doesn't have a chance to poison, but the rest of my moves do that pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with this bring. I actually don't bring Pursuit for the Delmize because I felt like whilst he needs it, I feel like my team pressures it a lot. Like everything my team pressures it outside of maybe licky, and like I think I pack ice beam, so I'm even pressuring it anyway with ice beam. So yeah. Anyways, back to a little mug. This thing can OCO a Gardevoir as long as it's not bulk invested. However, if it is bulk invested, it could potentially live. I could have potentially ran Pursuit over Rockside or Brick Break, but I felt like Bishart and Pincer were too big of threats to bypass on this coverage. And this thing absolutely helps Mega Gallade go in. It also helps Thunderous Therion's job a little bit better by being an issue for Delmize, being an issue for Zapdos with the Poison Touch and stuff like that, and being able to come in on, potential Thunderbolts and stuff and not really mind it as much. I do have Wish support for my mons that don't have reliable recovery, but like I mentioned, this thing has Assault Vest, so it's going to be taking a lot less from special attacks. And I have a pretty standard EV spread here, but it works out perfect for this match from what I've calculated. So yeah, that's going to be it there. And we can go ahead and scroll up here into Sticky Icky here. Our boy rocking the leftovers with Oblivious, so we can't be taunted or infatuated, but not really worried about the latter, mostly the former, because he does have taunters. We have Protect, Earthquake, Ice Beam, and Wish. And as you can see on screen, we're max defense, max HP. We don't normally do that, max or anything like that. Most likely max HP almost all the time, but not nearly max defense all the time or anything like that. This is a special occasion. I could potentially avoid a 2-hit KO from Mega Pincer, especially if there's no rocks up, and be able to 2-hit KO it with Ice Beam, maybe. So that's really like a huge potential. Also, if you packs close combat to OCO me, then I should live that as well, and I might be able to knock him out with an Ice Beam after the special defense drop. Wish Protect, pretty obvious why I brought that. I think anyway. Just for longevity and to pass wishes off to things like Bronzeon, Alolan Mug, and even Gallade. Gallade can come in and take a hit and then click, not click anything, but get the wish back and stuff like that. So that's pretty dope. This thing can take hits from Alolan Dugtrio and bob it back with Earthquake. Can take hits from Nihilego and bob it back with the Earthquake. Zapdos and Mega Pincer can take hits from it and bop it back with the Ice Beam. Delmize is hit by Ice Beam. Gardevoir can't do, like if it's Psyshock, it's not doing that much to me. However, if it's Moonblast and Psychic, it's doing quite a bit, but not enough to really threaten me. And I can get a little bit of chip off of it, as well as throwing off wishes and protects and stuff like that. And can, what's the word? Say I come in with my Bronzeon on Gardevoir, and he locks himself into like Choice Scarf, Modest Shadow Ball, and it does quite a bit to my Bronzeon. I can then switch out to my Licky, which will be immune to it, and I can be able to throw off a free wish, maybe catch it back with my Bronzeon, or pass it to something else that might grab me offensive momentum or something like that. So I think that's pretty dope. I can take a hit from Bisharp as well and do quite a bit of damage with Earthquake, and it could potentially put him in range of my other Pokemon, or it could put him in range of the next Earthquake. It could force some 50-50s with Bisharp and Volcanion for that matter. Ice Beam also knocks out the Flygon in one shot, and Top Null is not doing quite that much back to me as much as I can be doing back to him. Generally, it could be like a weird tech set, but I don't know. However, Conk takes full advantage of this Pokemon. Can come in on Ice Beam, can come in on Earthquake, and not really mind either of those, and just throw off a Drain Punch or a Knockoff or something like that. So I really got to watch out for that. I don't know if he'll bring Conk. I think it's not the best in this matchup. I do have Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, and like Haunter, which like he'd have to predict around the Drain Punches and the knockoffs and stuff like that. And I feel like Conk's not the best break for him. However, it could be a nice breaker for him for Licky Licky, Gligar, Bronzeon with like Drain Punch knockoff and Ice Punch, and really break my team. Maybe have Thunder Punch with Iron Fist, and then he could really go ham on my defensive squad. But like I mentioned, I'm not bringing. I mean, I do have like a defensive backbone, but my approach to this game is very offensive. So let's go ahead and get into the next part. We have Bronzeon here, which is going to be nicknamed Bronze Bong with Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, and Toxic. Basically, not too much to say about this. Mixed defense. It can check Nihilego pretty comfortably. It's like a pretty solid check to Gardevoir, especially when you know it's going to be locked into the Fairy type attack or the Psychic type attack. Spamming Ghost type attacks is bad against my team, so I think Bronzeon can take advantage of that. You know, not really allowing Gardevoir to lock itself into Shadow Ball or anything like that because of my Licky Licky, because of being able to take advantage of that and passing off free wishes and stuff like that. And I do have a little muck too that can come in and potentially trap it, so I do feel like that he would be more inclined to click Moonblast or Fairy, Psychic type attacks. So this thing Oko's Nihilego with Earthquake, and Gyro Ball does quite a bit as well. It also hits Mega Pinsir pretty hard. Earthquake hits Alolan Dugtrio, Bisharp, and Volcanion pretty hard, and Gyro Ball hits the Flygon pretty hard, and then the rest of the Pokemon don't really matter. I mean, besides Gardevoir, it gets bought by the Gyro Ball. And then I have Toxic there to catch things like Zapdos, Delmise, Volcanion, Titanol, Flygon to an extent. So I do have ways of potentially catching the Pokemon that I can't really harm, and then taking advantage of that with like an offensive grab. Like I did mention, Scarf Gardevoir is coming. It has to come. So I do have Bronzeon there as a means to check it, and I don't necessarily want to lose it. It's solid for Nihilego. It's solid for Gardevoir as well. So I don't want to become pursuit trapped by Bisharp and lose this thing. That's the reason for the Cobra Berry. If he catches me with a double or something like that, or sacks something off and then brings in Bisharp and has Nihilego or Gardevoir left, I don't necessarily want Bronzeon taking that damage. So I do got the Cobra Berry there to potentially lessen the damage of something like that, if that were to happen. So, and then the Levitate ability is pretty obvious. He does have Flygon, and it makes it a pretty solid check to that, as well as just bopping everything generally hard with the Gyro Ball with the minus speed nature and the 0 speed IVs and stuff like that. It's pretty hard hitter. In terms of the things it needs to hit, like it's not going to 2-hit KO Mega Pinsir or anything, but it will drop Nihilego, Gardevoir. It'll do quite a bit to Bisharp and Volcanion, and Gyro Ball might be able to 2-hit KO Flygon, which is pretty dope. It speaks on Flygon's part a lot, I think. So next up we have Thunderous Therian, our Choice Scarf variant with U-Turn and Volt Switch. So why do we have both? Because my opponent has Alolan Dugtrio and Flygon. So I need to be able to click that momentum move every turn, or any turn that I could potentially be in, that I'm not trying to end the game. So I want to be able to always get my momentum, whether it be Volt Switch or U-Turn. I always want to be able to click one or the other. And if he's got his ground types in game still, then I need to click U-Turn, because obviously they're immune to Volt Switch. And then I have Thunderbolt for late game spam. I'm outpacing Gardevoir so that I am faster than Choice Scarf Gardevoir, and I do have knockoff for Delmise specifically. And I'm mixed attack with a minus special defense nature. 68 EVs in attack, as you can see on screen, allows me to do quite a bit of damage to Delmise and Gardevoir and things like that. And I do think that, say I have Thunderous in, and I've revealed Thunderbolt and Volt Switch and U-Turn potentially, he would more than likely think that my last move is Hidden Power Ice, and I could potentially bring this thing in on a late game Gardevoir, and he thinks that he could live the attack, when really I don't mind if he lives, because all I want to do is knock his item off, and I'll knock his Choice Scarf off in exchange for losing Thunders. But then something like Mega Gallade doesn't mind Gardevoir anymore because its item's been knocked off, and I can now knock it out with a neutral knockoff with my attack investment after it took the knockoff from the Thunder's Therian. And it thought it was going to live the Thunderbolt, but I don't even click it, so that's pretty dope. That's just a scenario I made up in my head. However, if it comes to the late game and he's got a Alolan Trio around or Flygon around, then Thunders probably isn't going to be my highest priority, because I can't just lock myself freely into Thunderbolt. And I could potentially give something like Mega Pinsir free setup if I have to lock myself into knockoff, and he comes in and Stealth Rocks aren't up, and he's at full, and he takes 15 to 25% from knockoff, sets up to +2, and then sweeps through my team or something like that. I can't have that happen. So yeah, Thunders in that situation would not be my highest priority, and I would instead rely on my other Choice Scarf user, which is going to be our Choice Scarf Kartana here, our boy Kistana, with the Beast Boost ability. Our attack stat will be the boost. Once we get our Beast Boost, our attack stat will be boosted by 1 stage. We have Leaf Blade, Smart Strike, Knockoff, and Toxic. Toxic being there for Volcanion, and most importantly, Zapdos. I want to get that thing poisoned early, get Stealth Rocks up, and maybe get that thing eliminated from the game so that Kartana has a easier time. However, it is possible that while Zapdos is around, we can still win. It just needs to be severely weakened, under half, poisoned, and stuff like that. So a lot of scenarios need to play. Actually, not a lot. I just need Zapdos gone, and then Kartana can really do work in this matchup. Choice Scarf Leaf Blade, he doesn't really have the best switch in. I guess Delmize and Mega Pinsir, outside of Zapdos is what I'm saying. The Delmize and Mega Pinsir, which don't necessarily appreciate Smart Strike and Knockoff respectively. But most importantly, the Toxic's there for the Zapdos. I can knock its item off, make it come in on Stealth Rock, make it take hits from Thunder's Therian and Mega Gallade. Really going to pressure that Zapdos. It's going to be pressured, no doubt, in this matchup. And yeah, I guess that's about it for the prep. Not much else to say, I don't think. I definitely. Let's make a final prediction on the team he's going to bring. I'm going to say Mega Pinsir, Zapdos, Delmize, Gardevoir, Conch, and I'm going to go with Volcanion since it's pretty hard to switch into, and he has a Zapdos and a Delmize to help pressure my Tapu Fini. So yeah, that's going to be the 6. He's going to bring Mega Pinsir, Zapdos, Delmize, Gardevoir, Conch, and the Volcanion. And his plan is going to be to use Conch and Volcanion to pressure my defense so that his Choice Scarf Gardevoir and his Swords Dance Mega Pinsir can come into play late game. And Zapdos and Delmize are going to be more of support mons with Rapid Spin support and like Volt Switch, Momentum Grabbing. That's what I think is going to be the bring. You saw what we're going to bring. Let me know what you think about the matchup. Let me know what you think about my prep and my predictions for his prep. And what do you think is going to happen in the battle? Who's going to win and all that good stuff? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.